as a custom, we'll walk around the hall whenever I start an event. But you can agree with me that if I started going around now, time would not be on our side. So I'd like to crave your indulgence one more time to help me turn to the person sitting next to you. First of all, give them a warm smile on my behalf. Yes, a warm smile. Now take a step further and give them a high five. Thank you very much. Now I said the person sitting next to you. I saw that there is a beautiful lady sitting alone. So there is no one sitting next to her. So please, can I ask that you move forward? Sit beside someone so that the next time I ask for someone to say hello to you, you will find someone to give a high five. Please, a round of applause for her. She moves forward. Thank you very much. All right, now I'd like us to do one more thing. I know I came in earlier and I saw a whole lot of you because again, this is the UK and time is of the essence, like the last song the DJ just played, okay? I saw a whole lot of you came in a lot earlier and I see that you've gone around to meet at least as a custom the people you know, okay? So now I'd like us to do something for just about 5 minutes. Here's the instruction. You need to move around, okay, and meet someone, at least 3 people that you've not met before or in this hall today. Now, this is the instruction. Find out what they do, who they are, and something that is important in their lives, okay? I will pick people at random after this exercise to confirm what you have found out, all right? Please do not fall my hand. There is something Nigerians call don't fall my hand. Right? Please, if you're sitting beside the Nigerian, you can ask them what that means. All right? So for the next 5 minutes, please help walk around and introduce yourself to someone, meet someone you've never met in this hall today or before today. Okay? 5 minutes.
No, it's a problem. But I just saw that when you're talking to people, because I've done it before. Now start saying something else.
ChinesePeace.com.
we're ready.
All right.
Get ready.
All right, thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it's been worth your while. Thank you very much, Mr. DJ. Everyone, you can return to your seats now. Thank you. We will return to the networking session very soon. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for me to introduce to you what this event is about. Mr. Rotimi Olorunfemi will do a lot more justice to it. But while I was researching about this event, I, of course, like my custom is, did some kind of a search for a definition. All right, and one of the definitions of standout that I found was said to be conspicuously different. Right? I know that sounds like a very big grammar. Right? Be conspicuously different. Speaking with the convener of this event, he mentioned that the whole idea of this event is to impact and build community, which is something that every single human on the face of the earth must pay attention to. I like the fact that all of our panelists are here present. Please, ladies and gentlemen, can you put your hands together and celebrate all our panelists? We have Mr. Agbeshe, we have Dr. Oak, and we have Dr. Olushola Cole. We also have Councillor Hilaria Asumu, and then also we have Anila Hamed. They will all be coming up shortly to have a conversation in the first panel session. But before then, I would like to bring up the convener of this event to give a welcome address. So if your hands are not busy, even if they are, please help me put them together as I introduce Mr. Olorunfemi Rotimi. A round of applause for him, please.
Okay, I didn't know I was going to come up this soon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so honored to have people here to celebrate with me. I was telling my friend at the back that this is the first time in my entire life that I'm doing something of my own. I've always either been in a role, a position, showing my craft. But this is the first time I'm actually doing something that has my name on it. And it's such a big moment for me personally. And I didn't write any speech, to be honest. I tried, but I couldn't. So I'll just say it from my heart. The 9th of 11, sorry, the, the 9th of November 2024 is an historic day, as I would also want to add, is a prophetic day. Don't mind me, I'm a Christian, so. Troy, that's the Rotimi Olorunfemi initiative, was actually inspired by the Holy Spirit. Apologies to those that are not Christians. The Holy Spirit is one of my best friends. And that was where I heard the name Troy. I was brushing my teeth that day, I think last year, about this time last year, and I just heard it's time to do something. And I was like, I still want to run for SAB next year. I can't do this. And I ran for SAB and I lost. And I was like, okay, I think God is actually serious about this. So I had to lose to start it, because if I was still in SAB, I probably would not have thought of this. And I just want to say that Troy is something personal to me. I've had friends who were bright, intelligent, had a very, very great potential, but they fell on the roadside because they lacked guidance, they lacked mentorship, they lacked people they could look up to. And I tell you today that a lot of them are into drugs, and it's a very, very devastating time for them. And I said to myself that in my own generation, I'm going to ensure that young people who come after me, they will live up to their potential, because young people have what it takes to take the world to the next stage. Apologies to the older generation, they've done their best, but I think it's time for young people to step up. And this is why Troy has been established, and we are open to collaboration with everybody. Troy is a platform for everyone to shine. It's not a one-man show. We are open to everyone who is passionate about young people also. So feel free to collaborate with us. And I want to say a big thank you, firstly, to God for making this a reality. And I want to say a big thank you to my parents. I know they are watching right now from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Mom. I love you so much. Thank you for instilling all the principles that have made me the man I am today. Without you, I won't be here. Thank you so much. And I want to tell my siblings, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And to my amiable panelists, what can I say? I mean, Dr. Adeshola Cole, all the way from London. And it's not like she knows me. I mean, I just messaged her on LinkedIn and I was like, oh, I have this thing coming up. I was like, I need you on Instagram Live. And she was like, no, I can come all the way from London. I was like, no way. Please help me celebrate Dr. Adeshola Cole for believing in this vision that I've not figured out totally yet. And I want to say a big thank you to my big auntie, Anila Hamed. She's been very supportive. I remember the litter picking thing we did together. She taking pictures of everything wrong and say, you know what, I'm going to work on this. I celebrate you. Thank you so much. Please clap for her. I want to appreciate Councillor Ilaria Sugu. She's my, I don't even know what to say. I love you so much, Ma. Thank you for believing in me. She's always making sure I do more than I am doing today. I want to appreciate. Thank you for coming all the way from Salford, Manchester, coming to grace this occasion. Thank you so much, Ma. I love you so much. And I want to say to my big brother, Dr. Olushola Kolawole, I mean, everyone knows him. is a fantastic human being, very humble. I reached out to him months ago and he was like, I'll be here. I think it was supposed to even be in another country, but he's here today just for this, and I really appreciate you, sir. I do not take this for granted. Thank you so much. And to my other big brother, Mr. Caleb, thank you so much. I called him almost last minute and he was like, no, I'll be there. He had to come all the way. We went to Ghana, came back, and like, I'll be there for you. Thank you for believing in this young man from Nigeria. I appreciate it so much. And he's from Ghana, we're brothers. Thank you so much. Jack, Daniel, Adam, I'm just trying to look around. Counselor, is it Cortez? Code, sorry. I've made it to, I've changed it to Spanish. Code, thank you so much for showing up. And Grandma, thank you, Ma, for coming. And to everyone, my friends, thank you for supporting me. Troy is going to be great, I can assure you, because we are going far, we are going global. The dream is to have Troy in many countries. That is the dream. And with you here, I'm sure we can all achieve it together. So, next things for Troy, we are going to go into lots of partnership collaborations. Like I said, with young people, we are going to train. You hear some of them later. We're going to train young people to be who they want to be, whatever dream, whatever. If you can think it, you can be it, basically. And this is not rhetoric. I actually do mean it. I'm all out to ensure that young people fulfill their potential. And from this event, you'll start seeing us working. So officially, the Rotimi Olorunfemi initiative is established on the 9th of November 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Please, can we celebrate Rotimi Olorunfemi one more time with a round of applause? All right, thank you very much. Now, without further ado, I'd like to have us move straight into the very first panel session. Again, we have very quality panelists here present with us, men and women who are doing great things in their field. Ladies and gentlemen, I heard something from a great man several years ago, Mr. Fela Durotoye. He said that when you gather like this at a conference, there will always be a bunch of keys dished out to you. But the most important thing for you is not to take the bunch home, because all you need is just one key. The key, the right key that will open the door that you're knocking on. So today, as we have the panel session, please pay close attention to what is being discussed, because a whole lot of quality information will be coming your way. We have made pen and writing materials available. Please use them very judiciously, because a whole lot is coming your way. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to introduce every single one of the panelists. The first person I'll be calling up is Mr. Caleb Agbeshi, who is currently the General Manager for Theatre, Anesthetics and Critical Care for Bradford Teaching Hospital, NHS Trust, with MSc Total Quality Management from Bradford University School of Management, 2008. He joined the NHS in 2009 as a healthcare support worker and developed into a surgical and theatre operational management role across multiple NHS organizations. He has served on different operational and management roles, including service and quality lead, business manager, deputy general manager, and now general manager. Mr. Caleb is passionate about working together to provide high quality care to patients and love to develop the skills of his team members. Ladies and gentlemen, with a true round of applause. Please, can we welcome Mr. Caleb Andoshi. Thank you very much. Now, the next person I'll be bringing up is Anila Ahmed. In 1997, Anila Ahmed started on a path to where she is today. She secured a job with the West Yorkshire Metropolitan Ambulance Service as an emergency medical dispatcher. Little did she know that the job itself would be her actual calling. She was the only Asian woman to work for the service in that role, and one of the longest serving as well. In 2005, Anila was nominated locally for the EMD of the Year, and she won. In 2019, Anila was nominated and shortlisted again, this time for the Dispatcher of the Year in the UK and Ireland. She won and brought a hugely sought-after trophy back to Yorkshire. Anila was the first female to ever win in the UK. Anila is a huge advocate of installing defibrillators in communities, which could inevitably help save a life when needed. In 25 years of career with the ambulance service, Anila has delivered 41 babies, helped hundreds of people do CPR on loved ones, dealt with thousands of calls, and had hundreds of commendations for her call handling and calm nature of dealing with emergencies. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with a true round of applause, make welcome Anila Ahmed. Thank you. The next person I'll be bringing up is Councillor Hilaria Asonu. Hilaria is the councillor for Walkden South, Salford, having worked in England for several years in the public, private, and third sector. Hilaria is the previous chair of the Black and Asian Police Association, Greater Manchester, and a serial entrepreneur, as well as setting up kidney charities in the UK and Nigeria, providing advocacy services for Black people with kidney disease. In 2008 and 2010, she was diagnosed with kidney disease. She received a transplant in 2018 and survived after her transplant. In gratitude to her donor's family, she became a campaigner for organ donation in the Black communities with the NHS Blood and Transplant team and peer educator with Kidney Research UK. Hilaria is actively involved in the Black African community in Greater Manchester and other cities across the UK. She has worked with several charities like Homestart, Salford, and Trafford, supporting women living with domestic violence. Her campaign has taken her places like the London Assembly, Parliament, to mention a few, and involved in and with a lot of NHS health committees. Her main campaign is speaking in the Black community about blood and organ donation and the law introduced in 2020, health inequalities, and encouraging people to sign up as organ donors. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a true round of applause to Councillor Hilaria Asonu. Thank you very much. Next person I'll be bringing up is Dr. Adeshola Cole. Interestingly, she's namesake with my wife. Dr. Adeshola Cole is the CEO of TreeTech Consulting Limited, whose incredible journey from simple beginnings to her remarkable achievement is truly inspiring. With a degree in literature in English and certifications in Prince 2, Change Management Scrum, and Scrum Master, Dr. Cole has gained expertise in various fields. Dr. Cole's determination led her to discover her passion for mentoring and community development, leading to the establishment of Tritech Consulting Limited. Her numerous awards, including Woman of the Year in 2022, Outstanding Woman in Tech 2023, Emerging CEO of the Year 2022, Top 100 Influential Global Voices 2024, and recognition among 100 iconic African leaders, highlights her significant impact. Featured in Forbes Africa, Dr. Cole's motto, "Make a way, not an excuse," resonates with her journey of overcoming obstacles. Dr. Adeshola Cole is the CEO of Tritech Consulting Limited, a true leader and an inspiring others to reach their highest potentials. Ladies and gentlemen, with a warm round of applause, please welcome Dr. Adeshola Cole. Also, we have Dr. Kolawole Olushola, popularly known as Dr. Oak. Dr. Olushola Kolawole, known as Dr. Oak, holds a PhD in Operations and Information Management from the University of Bradford, and he is a chartered member of the Institute of Procurement and Supply, MCIPS. He is a current lecturer at the Department of Business Analytics, Circular Economy and Entrepreneur base at the University of Bradford. Beyond his educational background, he is a dedicated entrepreneur. He currently runs 2 social enterprises within the minority ethnic groups in Yorkshire, known as the African Business Association Yorkshire, which boasts over 1,000 members across the region, and the Oak Institute UK. Since 2023, ABA has successfully organized 7 major events across West Yorkshire, each attracting no less than 150 attendees, of which I have been one of the attendees. Through the Oak Initiative, UKCIC, the highly successful Bradford African Festival of Art, BAFA, was organized in July 2024. I was there as well. Dr. Oak is currently the Executive Director of New Touch International UK, an organization that provides training and mentorship programs to entry-level professionals from underrepresented communities and groups. Dr. Olushola is currently serving on various boards, both in the UK, America, and Africa, where he is analyzing complex issues and developing business growth strategies. His focus has been on addressing the unique challenges faced by ethnic minority-owned businesses and identifying opportunities for development and investment. He is deeply committed to addressing the need of economically and socially excluded groups. He is a lover of Jesus Christ, whom he passionately serves. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with Jesus' joy, make welcome Dr. Oak. Thank you very much. To anchor this panel session is Itofa. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes forward.
Hi everyone, a very good evening. Can you all hear me? Are you guys excited to be here today? How excited are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you? 11 over 10. Thanks, man. 20. Awesome. So first of all, I want us to all feel very relaxed. The room feels really, really tense. Let's all feel relaxed. It's a beautiful conversation we're about to have here. Don't worry, this is not a panelist of United Nations. It's going to be a very humanistic conversation. What we're trying to do today is to try to connect the thread. First of all, that makes all of us human. How do we pursue goals, dreams, and all that? So, we'll take a deep breath, everyone. With a smile on your faces, please. All right. So my name is Itofa Ibar, and I have the privilege, this incredible honor to be here today to help support my brother, and just lead this panel session. And he's our mentor figures. So to be sitting up here today to be able to listen and glean from your wisdom is an absolute honor. And so some of the questions I'm going to ask you today are questions that I personally have. So I'm going to take the position of the people in the room and ask that question. So I was in a workshop in Ireland a couple of months ago, and it was just about immigrants. They were talking about immigrants. And one of the facilitators came up to the podium and he said something very fantastic that changed my paradigm. He said, when other people from the Western or developed countries come into Africa, we call them expatriates. You never call them immigrants. Why is that when we come to their country, why are we called immigrants and not expatriates? And so in this room, I'm not going to use the term immigrants for the questions I'm going to be asking. I will use the word expatriate. Because every single person in this room is some expert in whatever field you're in, whether it's in education, healthcare, academia, you're an expert in your field. So I would use the term expatriate to ask that question. And so if you're listening to the bio, you can tell that everyone in the room here is from different sector and different field, but something is very common. They've all stood out. They've all stood out. So could we just put our hands together for them first of all? That's one thing that's very, very common. They've all stood out in their different fields. So it shows that it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is, it doesn't matter what race you're in, what type of tribe or tongue you speak, you can actually stand out. So the first question I want to ask is, in 2 minutes, I want to hear all your stories. Where did it begin from? How did you first of all define the path for yourself? What was that defining moment that influenced you? So, because everybody's in this room, some people are probably at your starting point, some people are at the intersection right now, some people are already the cutting edge at the precipice of a great change, right? But they don't know how to navigate that. So it'll be good to hear your stories. Came in here to England, you've done these incredible things you've done. Where did the story begin from you, and when did that transformation start? So in 2 minutes, we'll pass the mic. Thank you.
Okay, so you want me to start?
Absolutely.
So good evening, everybody, and thank you so much, Rotimi. Where are you? Okay, please clap for me. Thank you for putting this together. I doubt it if I can tell you my story in 2 minutes, but I'm going to try. So I've been a business person right from the beginning of my life. Not when I was in my mother's womb, but right from the beginning, back in Nigeria then. But let me start from my secondary school. I think secondary school is equivalent to high school here. I'm not sure. Yeah. So immediately I finished my secondary school, I started a tutorial center. So I was very good in mathematics. But unfortunately, I don't think I'm good in maths now. But then, very good in mathematics, so we just started a tutorial center. Before I gained admission to the university, so I was teaching, that was my day job, teaching. I rented an apartment and teaching mathematics. In fact, I started employing staff as well, tutors, we call them tutors. Started giving them, in Nigeria, then maybe 10 naira per hour, something like that, just to teach. That was the beginning. So I gained admission and I was to go back to the university. I had to close the tutorial because no one that can manage it, so it was closed. Then I went to the university because, see, sometimes these things are inborn. They are within you, they are part of you, they are part of your life. So anywhere you find yourself, you will see it coming out of you because it's part of your life. So when I gained admission to the university as well, I started tutorial center again. Teaching my colleagues, many of them will come. The one I can't teach, I will employ some of my colleagues as well to teach them. And that was how we started. In those days, because we attended public school. So we're sending past questions. I'll send past questions to my colleagues, put everything together. When it was towards the examination, we rolled it out and sent it out. I'm making money. In fact, I had an office, on campus, my home office. I was also serving God. I was very involved in my fellowship. Now, that was one. They were to do farming. I don't know if many of you did that in Nigeria. So we were to do farming. And I remember, they just introduced what is called pure water. Pure water in Nigeria is the water inside nylon sachet. They introduced it, and I saw that this is an opportunity. This guy, we had about 1,000 in the class. This guy is going to be farming. So I think it would be good for me to supply pure water. When they are working, they can have something. I was meant to be part of them, but my own was to look for pure water. So I got a very big truck. I tested it and it worked. And I moved the water to the farm. And believe me, we sold everything. I said, this is a nice one. The following day we did the same thing. We spent a week doing that particular course, but it must be a practical one. And I sold a truck of water every blessed day. And that was it. And I said, okay, it's like, this is my line. I need to look for skill again to develop my skill in terms of business. And that was how I started. So when I finished my university, sincerely, I went back to tutorial again. So I didn't even look for a job. I later got one through the federal government. I won an award. That's another story. So I said, no, I'm not going to work with anybody. I want to have my own business. I started tutorial in the same building I was using when I left for the university. I started tutorial again, and we're doing it. Somebody just approached me one day and said, there's a school. They want to sell this school. And we believe so much in you that you can buy this school. I said, where will I get the money? I don't have that money. The guy said, no, you can. We know you. With what you've done, we know you can do it. And that was how we started. By the special grace of God, I bought the school. It was a primary school there. About 15, 16 years ago. So we bought the primary school. And that was how I started the primary school again. In the course of starting the primary school, we started the secondary school. So till today, back in a place called Lagos, Nigeria, I've got a school there. And it's still running up to now, even up here. Still running. So that was the beginning. About 10 years ago, 12 years ago, so I came to the United Kingdom. I spent 2 years in Scotland. Then later moved to Bradford, and I'm here in Bradford for 10 years. And again, I came for PhD. So I didn't bother myself doing business when I was doing PhD because it's not easy to combine business and PhD together. But while I was doing my PhD, I was investigating on the city called Bradford. I was looking for opportunity. I was looking for what I can do. How can I contribute my own culture to this city? So immediately I finished my PhD, I started. And by the special grace of God, I have two social enterprises, which is called Africa Business Association. I have Hope Initiative. I've got my own private business. We started about 3 months ago, we started the event center. And that is what is called the event place, rather, at the city, right inside the city bus. So there's a very big building there. And that event center can take about 800 people. It's not easy, sincerely, when I started, because I wanted to do partnership, but the whole partnership process failed. But somebody said, you can do it, you can do it. And what I am today, with the help of God, and that's my story.
Hi everyone. I'll try and keep it very, very short. So I'm going to talk about my upbringing because I think that's crucial to the woman that I am right now. So I was born in Hackney, but I was fostered in Derbyshire. And it was a very, very challenging childhood because I was the only black person within that community and within that school. So living with my foster parents, who were both white, I was constantly physically abused because of the way that I looked, and that really affected my confidence. In the school where I was the only black person in my school. So every day I was bullied. I constantly called, the names that they called back in the day. But it instilled something in me, and that was a fighting spirit. So at the age of 11, so I was living with my foster parents, and at the age of 11, my parents then made that decision to take me to Nigeria. And I would say that was the best decision that they ever made, because if they hadn't have made that decision, I don't know how I would have turned out. So my parents took me to Nigeria, and I stayed with my grandmother. And my grandmother, I was rebellious. I was a very rebellious child, but my grandmother was very, very strict and very, very firm. And I guess that is another reason why I am the woman that I am today. So I went to secondary school in Nigeria and then I came back. And then we didn't have the mentorship in the communities that you guys, a lot of you youngsters are privileged to have right now. So even though I was born here, it was a case of, oh yeah, just do cleaning, just be a cleaner. Go to Dalston or go to wherever and just clean. And that's how I became a cleaner. So I used to work in different hotels as a cleaner. So there was a hotel in particular called the Savoy Hotel, which is like a 6-star hotel. And you know, nice looking people dressing up and looking nice. But there was something in me that kept telling me that I'm gonna be one of these people. I'm gonna dress up the way that they're dressing. So I'll be cleaning their rooms and looking at them and even telling myself mentally that I'm coming back to the Savoy Hotel as a guest, which I did 2 years ago, by the way. So I was cleaning, and then from there, I used to work in a bakery, selling cakes and donuts and everything else. Now, in every career journey that I went through, I made sure that I was the best because that helps you mentally. So when I was a cleaner, I was the best cleaner. The housekeeper, I would clean 10 to 15 rooms, and the house cleaner never had to call me back to come and clean any room. I was the best at what I did. When I worked in the bakery selling donuts and cakes, I was the best. Then I got to the bank and I was one of the best salespersons ever. Top seller, credit cards, you would literally walk into the bank, I would sit you down and sell you a credit card, a loan and a mortgage and everything. Again, that spirit of excellence. So I think my journey as a businesswoman was somewhat of an accident. If someone had told me that I was going to be a successful entrepreneur, I probably would have told them that they were absolutely bonkers at the time. So I fell into tech by accident in 2014, but then I realized that I had a passion for mentorship. Number one, going through that journey when I was so young and having that passion that I don't want people to go through what I went through. Number two, again, having that drive to see our community not confined to cleaning and doing the odd jobs that we felt were normal at the time. And TriTech was birthed in March 2017. I've helped over 5,000 candidates transition into tech. We've won many awards. We've been featured, thank you so much, featured in the House of Parliament and Forbes and everything else. But I think the most critical part is this was me as a nobody. I'm sure at that time my parents just felt this child is a troublesome child. They could have written me off. But what did they do? They gave me an opportunity, they made that sacrifice, they took me to Nigeria, and here I am today.
Nigerian blood. I just said it's a Nigerian blood. We are brought up to be competitive, yes, and to be excellent in all we do. So thank you very much for having me here, Timmy. My story started 2008 when I had a miscarriage at 22 weeks, and it deteriorated to septicemia, multiple organ failure, 2 cardiac arrests, and I was in a coma. And when I came out of that coma, it had affected the multiple organ failure that affected my kidneys, so I had to go on dialysis. So because it was quite sudden, they had to put a tube, a quick tube in my chest. So it was the tube went through into my heart, and I was doing dialysis through that tube. So it left a hole in my chest. Good. And then whilst I was in dialysis, really horrible process. If you've not been through it, it's horrible. And a couple of years later, one of the consultants, whilst they were working me up for a fistula, the consultant said, let's take her off and see if, her kidneys will come back. My kidneys did, but marginally, and they were managing me. But unfortunately, In 2010, I got pregnant again, and same thing happened. Miscarriage at 22 weeks, septicemia, multiple organ failure, 2 cardiac arrests. I was in another coma, and when they were bringing me out of that coma, my lungs collapsed. They had to reintubate me to save my life. And then it was now to bring me out of that second coma, which they couldn't. And they did everything. They couldn't bring me out. And they told my husband that if I don't wake up, that they would turn the machine off on a certain day. And they said, even if she does wake up, she might be paralyzed on one side. So you have to prepare for what comes after that. On the day they were supposed to turn the machine off, I woke up on the morning. And that's why I'm sitting here talking to you today. So with that experience, obviously the multiple organ failure again that affected my kidneys and they shrunk to walnuts. So I had to go immediately on dialysis. So I've done all 3 methods of dialysis. So neckline, peritoneal dialysis, and also fistula. My fistula is still buzzing away on my left arm. And I'm just about to tie it off, stop it buzzing because it's quite loud in my ear. So anyway, whilst I was on dialysis, I was told I needed a transplant. Unfortunately, because my community, the Black community, not just the African Caribbean, all Blacks, we don't talk about illnesses. We don't talk about disease. We don't talk about being sick, especially from the country I'm from, Nigeria. When you tell somebody, "Oh, I heard you were sick," God forbid, it's not me; it's my enemy. It's something we do. Unfortunately, that meant that there were no conversations going on about how to help each other, how to help others. And currently on the transplant list, there are about over 7,600 people waiting for a transplant, and of that 7,600, about over 1,000 people from the Black community. Unfortunately, 1 in 3 dies every day. And that's one of the reasons that the government introduced the organ donation law, which came out on the 20th of May 2020. So back to my story. So I was on dialysis. My 7 brothers and sisters, I have 7 brothers and sisters, they all came forward to donate. None was a match. My parents came forward as well. Neither were a match. And I asked my mom, "Are you sure that you didn't play well?" Because I cannot understand why my brothers and sisters, including you, not a match. It was quite upsetting because I hated dialysis. And then my girlfriend from high school came forward. My friends call me Prof because I do any course you can think of. I've got several degrees. I don't care. I just go studying. So they call me Prof. And she heard that I was sick. And she came to me and said, "Prof, what's wrong?" And I told her. And she said, "Well, you can have one of mine." Now, this is really strange for a Nigerian to come forward. And I tried to dissuade her. She said, "No, if you're sick and you need a transplant, then I will give it to you." Unfortunately, my antibodies were at 97%. So whatever organ they give to me will be rejected. And she went to test. She also was not a match. And I thought, something's happening here. And meanwhile, I had children who were 6 and 7 who needed their mom. I had to teach them to be independent of me because I was always in the hospital. And I thought, I won't make it. I'm going to die. So I had to teach them to cook, clean, do everything, in case another woman comes into the house and decides to maltreat them, they'll be able to support themselves. Well, they are 23 and 22 now, and they're doing so well wherever they are because, they don't have to depend on anybody to look after them. But I went through a lot trying to see how I could, support myself. I actually moved home to do my dialysis. And one day I was doing my dialysis. Well, I do my dialysis about 3 o'clock in the morning and till 7 o'clock, and have a rest 1 hour. By 10 o'clock, I'm in my office. Now, believe me, I have my fingers in every pie you can think about. So I go to the office and in the evening come back, get on the machine, rinse and repeat and all of that. And that particular day, I just finished my dialysis at 7 o'clock. My sister in the States called me. We're just talking, and the phone rang. It was a voice, it was someone from the hospital. Now, mind you, in 2017, October 2017, they called me and said I should come to the hospital because they found there's a kidney available. Unfortunately, I was second choice, and they said, the first person might not make it because of one thing or the other, but we would, if it happens like that, then you would get the kidney. I didn't get it, so went home. So 2018, 6th March 2018, I got a call talking to my elder sister. It was a voice that said, "We found a kidney for you." Now, mind you, I don't know if there are any doctors in the room. There is this match they make, the HLH, so it's to see if somebody can match you, perfect match. Unfortunately, most of the time you have it's 1-2-1 or 1-1-2 or 2-1-1 or something like that. But mine was a perfect match, 0-0-0. So that was my kidney. So I went in at 6:30, 2 a.m. in the morning. They took me to the theater. 9 hours later, I was out of the theater, and I wouldn't lie down. I wouldn't lie down in bed because I was so grateful to my donor family. It was a mother who had lost her son, who had agreed to organ donation. And that's why I'm sitting down here talking to you today. And I sat down there looking at myself and asking myself, you could have died. I didn't. And at that point, my phone rang. I had my mobile phone in the hospital, and it was a voice, someone from NHS Blood and Transplant. And they're talking to me, and they said, "Oh, we just wanted to find out, we heard you're on dialysis. Do you know when your transplant is going to be, the date they've given you?" And I said, "I've just done it now." They got really flustered and were like, "Oh, should we call you back?" I said, "No, let's talk." And so, "Would you mind, doing something with us? Maybe if you want to work with us." I said, "It's a no-brainer. I've just received a second chance at life. Of course, I'm going to work with you." Now they don't know, they didn't know at the point what they got themselves into, because I'm one person that's when I fixate on something I want to do, I don't just do it, I overdo it. So I got involved with them. And 8 weeks after my transplant, I was in Parliament talking to ministers about my journey. And then the health minister then, Jackie, she said, "If we had 10 of Hilaria, our job is done." And I said, "No, I alone am a one-man army, and I'm going to make sure that my community understands why it is important that they sign up to the organ donor register." And through that, I've done a lot of stuff with different organizations. I've had, when I got my transplant, a present to myself was a master's in law, because I know that kidney patients find it difficult to get jobs or to remain in their jobs because employers won't make reasonable adjustments. So I went back to study employment law. And since then, I've been an advocate within my community. Not only that, I'm involved in research, because again, that's another thing that we don't do in my community, get involved in research. And I think one thing I'm very proud of is the fact that, with my experience, I know that I can make a difference. Because currently, there's this unprecedented exodus from Africa, from Asia, from everywhere into the Western countries. And particularly my country, we all come here with our culture and with, our traditions. So I decided to go back home to to sort of like educate people about organ donation. And when I got home, whilst I was on TV, a lot of people were talking about how difficult it is for people to do dialysis, to get dialysis, because it's very expensive. And on that TV show, I promised that I was going to build a free dialysis center in Nigeria. And I'm proud to say that that building is going to be a reality next year, because it's currently being built. No funding, nothing. I'm a public speaker. I go out to speak, and when I'm paid, that money goes into, most Nigerians will understand this, Osusu, Ajo, and the money from that cooperative goes into the building. Currently, it's almost complete. It just needs the machines and everything to be put in for us to start. And I'm looking at 60-40 divide, women at 60% and men at 40%. Because in Nigeria, if a woman is ill with kidney disease, there's lottery, they play lottery with her life by only doing dialysis once a month. And I want that to start. From diagnosis to death is 4 months in Nigeria. So why should that happen? Why should I have free treatment and then those people in Nigeria don't have it? So that is my goal, that is my dream, and that is going to continue. So that's about me. Thank you very much.
You know, I said to Rotimi a little while back, you put my name on this panel, but I've got such imposter syndrome. And I'm following that. How do you follow this? How does one follow this? You know, this is amazing. You're amazing people. So, thank you for inviting me here today. And just, I wanted to say a couple of things to you before I start. Never apologize for your faith, for your religion. Your religion and your faith makes you the kind person that you are.
Correct.
And never apologize for that. Yeah. We are blessed to be in the company of such wonderful people from all faiths and all backgrounds. Where else would you have a gathering like this? So never apologise. So how it started for me, I'm born and brought up in Bradford. I moved to live in Pakistan at the age of 8 with my mum and my sisters, and I'm the eldest of 5 sisters. And my parents were immigrants. They came to the UK at a very young age. Dad came here at the age of 18. Their whole life in the UK was about working hard and helping others. They were my biggest inspirations. To go into local politics, also to go into the service that I went into, and to make a difference. It was all about making a difference. I watched them as a child, helping others with letter writing, filling in forms, taking people to appointments, cooking food and distributing it within the street, looking after sick relatives, sick elders next door, neighbours, people in the area. And that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do when I grew up. I returned from Pakistan at the age of 18 after a whole 10 years. 8 months after I came back to the UK. At the age of 49, my father passed away. Now, very similar to your story, my dad was on the heart-lung transplant register. He needed a new heart and he needed new lungs. His had been damaged through excessive smoking over the years, from the age of, 16 onwards. Unfortunately, the day he died, 8 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock that same afternoon, we got a call from Sheffield to say they have found him a heart, but Dad had already gone that morning. So, in a way, the Almighty never needed that to happen. Hence, that went on to somebody else who was next in line. And that we learned was a young gentleman with a very young family. So it wasn't wasted, it went to somebody needy. That's one of the reasons I went into the field that I went into, because I was determined to make a difference. I was determined to do something that was going to be useful. After Dad passed away, I was now catapulted into the role of the head of the family, because I was the eldest daughter. We have no brothers. Our mum was poorly. I all of a sudden became the dad of the family, the big sister, the person who every single responsibility lay on now, to pay the bills, to put food on the table, to work jobs that I had to do to work, to deal with people outside of the household. That was my job. I didn't want to do that, but I had no choice. That was me now, so I had to do it. I never had the chance to complete my education. I went on to do my A-levels at the age of 28, and by that time, I had a 3-year-old daughter who used to come to me to college, here at Bradford College, in a pushchair on an evening to do my evening classes. I did my A-levels, I did A-level law, and I did A-level Urdu, because I wanted to be an interpreter and translator. I worked in many different organisations and did many different roles. Earlier on, you were told in 1997, I went onto the path where I am today. I secured a job with the West Yorkshire Metropolitan Ambulance Service as an emergency medical dispatcher. Little did any of us know that this job itself would be my actual calling. The day I walked into that room and had the opportunity to sit with an emergency dispatcher and listen to calls being taken and see how these people were serving the community. They are just a voice on the phone. Nobody can see them, they're a voice on the phone. That's what I wanted to do. And that's exactly what I did for the next 25 years. Through that job, I held recruitment events, promoted the service on every platform imaginable. If anybody wanted to talk to me, the first thing I'd say to them, have you heard about being an emergency medical dispatcher? It's amazing, honestly. Come and work for Yaz. If anybody mentioned to me they wanted to be a paramedic, I'd say, why don't you come and work for us for a few years in control, learn the job from there and then see how you feel. That was me. Every opportunity I got, I was recruiting for the job. Now, working with the NHS brought its own stress and its tribulations. Balancing a full-time job, doing permanent nights for 21 years, which I did until my retirement, and managing a home life, it's enough to put anybody off. But I loved my job. I was good at my job. I was saving lives. I was helping people, and that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to be there for people when they needed me, when they had nobody else. And I worked hard, and I made that role an exceptional role. And this was recognised by my peers. Now, it was mentioned earlier on that in 2005 I was nominated locally for EMD of the Year, which I won. Nominated again in 2017 and came second. And in 2019, I was nominated and shortlisted, this time for Dispatcher of the Year, UK and Ireland, the highest accolade any emergency medical dispatcher in this country works towards. This is the golden ball of emergency dispatch. It's the absolute award that anybody can go for. And I was lucky enough that I actually won and brought this hugely sought after trophy back to Yorkshire. I was the first BAME female to ever win this award in UK and Ireland. And to this day, I'm honoured and absolutely so proud of that. I'm a huge advocate for installing defibrillators, defibs as some people know them as, in communities where inevitably they could help save a life. I work very hard alongside the ambulance service, going out to schools and teaching scholars, young people, how to do CPR. There's a dedicated day for that every year in October, 16th of October. It's called Restart a Heart Day. So if you haven't never ever volunteered, and if you have the capacity to do so, I say sign up with the ambulance service and go out into your communities, into schools, and teach young people how to save a life. You never know, one day, what they learn might be useful out there. In my 25 years career with the ambulance service, I've delivered 41 babies, helped hundreds of people, thousands of calls, received hundreds of commendations. In 2022, whilst I was on holiday in Turkey, I ended up saving somebody's life. I was on holiday with my family in Turkey. You never think it'd happen. It's like a busman's holiday away, isn't it? I went to work after my leave ended. I never told anybody at work what happened because it was done and dusted. 5,000 miles away, I'd done it, left it there. Until one day a letter arrived at work and I got called into the manager's office and I'm thinking, God, what have I done? You know, am I in trouble? Something's going to happen. For the manager and my director to sit there and say, why did you not tell us about this? And they put the letter in front of me. What do you say? You know, somebody needed my help and I did what I could. Luckily enough, I saved the man's life. He made his way back to the UK. He was a British citizen abroad on holiday. He came back to the UK. His family got some extra time with him. You just get on with it. You don't talk about it. You just get on with it. As a resident in Bradford, I've strived over the past 40 years, I'd say, to be very active in local issues and assist the local community where and when I can. I've always advocated to ensure that my community is always looked after. And my community is where I met Rotimi for the first time. This university was in my ward. I was an elected member to council from 2016 to 2024, and I served City Ward, and this wonderful establishment falls under that ward. I was lucky enough to work alongside people like yourself who've got that passion and ambition like I did to make a difference, and that matters. I'm a keen advocate for community health and community safety. I collaborate with schools in the area, encouraging pupils to take pride in their community, their streets. We look at addressing any issues, any concerns that are raised, discuss how to resolve these issues by raising awareness I'm approachable, I hope. I've got excellent communication skills, I should have, 25 years talking to people like a voice on a phone. I'm multilingual. I've also this year signed up to learn British Sign Language again. Many years ago, when my daughter was little, when I was doing my A-levels, I did 1 year of British Sign Language, basic. And I think it's really important to have another skill. And like you, I'd like to learn more. Why not? Got the time to do it. In 2022, I retired from the ambulance service, and who says retirement has to be a quiet affair? You know, it doesn't have to be a quiet affair. Eh? I'm the co-chair of Peacemaker International, a small charity that's working towards eradicating FGM in the Bradford district, alongside educating the health professionals and other front-facing services about the practice and the devastating consequences it has on women and young girls. I, alongside colleagues like my colleague Yemi Dorcas here in front of the front row, we encourage Bradford Council to pass a motion and sign a pledge to recognise 6th of February as International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation. In 2017, all 90 councillors of Bradford Council signed the pledge. Bradford was the second council in the country to do that. Very, very proud that we did that. Now, we did that because we want to support the eradication of this heinous practice from our societies. Our message to the world has to be to leave it intact. It has to stop. I can go on talking about the other stuff that I've done, but 18 months ago I became a school governor at the local school. I'm their road safety lead. I run a road safety project with the year 5 and 6 pupils, teaching them how to deal with situations outside of school, giving them some leadership scope, teaching them how to become leaders within their own school communities. I'm a qualified mental health first aider. I did that through Mental Health England. I'm a trustee for the Joseph Nutter Foundation, again, doing my little bit to help the communities out there. It doesn't have to be somebody on my street. It could be anybody in the Bradford district, anybody who needs help. I'm an active member of the Rotary Club, the Bradford West leg of Rotary Adventurers and the Rotary Community Cause. And I'm a firm believer that if anybody tells you that you can't do anything, tell them to get lost. Do you know, there's nothing that you can't do. Put your mind to it, put your heart to it. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Go out there and prove it. Go and do it. Thank you.
That's so inspiring. Thank you very much for that. I don't know how to start mine, but I feel like I'm so fortunate to be invited by Troy and Roti to just share my story with everybody. And I'm also so fortunate to be with yourselves today, listening to all these inspiring stories. I don't know how we're gonna. I'm particularly gonna follow up with everything that you've all got. But I think I'm so much inspired with your vision, Roti, what you're doing in Bradford, and I think it's important. And because I am also a beneficiary of somebody's support or somebody who actually invested in me, and I think it's important for me to also share that and people get some sort of inspiration and then be able to develop themselves into things that they want to do in future. So my story goes this way. I am equally the same as everybody else in here, or most of you will say I travel from whichever country you came from to the UK to study and go back. That was purely my mental position. I'm just coming here, study, and go back to Ghana. I'm a Ghanaian, by the way, so fortunate to have all the Nigeria panels, and I'll start with them. So I graduated from Bradford Management School back in 2008. And at that point, I felt, well, I've got my master's degree. What should I be doing? Should I stay in this country? Bear in mind, I've been here a few years before then, doing all the jobs that you can talk about, cleaning, security, everything. But then I had one more faith in myself and said, you know what, just try something else, something completely different that you've never done before, which was care, doing caring. So I applied and got a job as a carer. And in that role as a carer, where I was so fortunate to met somebody called, I'll call him a dad, but to be fair, he's more than a dad to me. And he's called Krishna Kuma. Don't know if anybody know him. Krishna was a mentor, he's a dad, and very, very supportive. So we met at workplace, and I share my story. This is what I'm doing, and he was one of the managers in the workplace at the time. So he asked me a quick question: if you want to do anything else in here other than care, what would you like to do? That threw me back, and seriously, I thought about this, and I thought, if I am working in here as a carer and I have no other vision, I don't know what I want to do, and somebody asks you that simple question, what would you like to do? What should be your answer? I couldn't get an answer straight away to give to him. So I said, I'll do anything you want me to do. And he said, no. What's your vision? What do you want to be? So I started stories about what I plan to do, what I aim to do, what I want to achieve, and said, that's fine, but what do you want to do right now? You've got your master's degree, what do you want to do? And then I realized, actually, I've missed something in life, which is you have no purpose, you've not defined what you want to do. And that took me back. So I sat back and I asked myself, what do you want to do? Caleb, what do you want to do? After a few days, I went back to him and I said, what he challenged me with that morning, I'm back here to give you an answer. And my answer here is, I want to work in an organization and develop myself to the highest level possible. He said, fine, I'll support you. So it wasn't too long after that conversation, and then he came to me and said, there's a role in the department if you would like to take it, but unfortunately, you're not going to be paid for it. It's support that you need to give to the department, but if you want to do it, we'll help you to develop yourself in that role. If you look at you looking for an income to support yourself, you've just finished studying, and you want to make life for yourself, that's a very difficult option to take. But then I agreed to it, knowing one thing, I'm going to learn something from this role, and it's going to take me somewhere. And that was the mental shift for me. So I accepted the role, do it, even though it was out for no pay. So I go and do my care job, and then when I'm free, I come back and do this. Lo and behold, within few months of doing that, it became apparent that that role is now going to be a position that they will pay somebody to do as a substantive role. And I was offered because you're doing well with it. So I took it and I started working in the role. I probably was think about 6 months in that role. I had a call in the office to say there's a role in advertised if you want to apply for it because we see what you do here. I was so nervous. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, so I declined it. And the reason I declined it because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was able to do that role. But then he came back to me and said, you're doing so well. And inspired me actually to say, take up that role. But completely at that point, I didn't feel I was at the right point to take that role, so I did it. So I left that job, and then there was another role advertised this time outside Bradford. And at this point, from listening to everything that Krishna had told me, taking all his advice, I decided to apply for that role. Well, in Southampton. So that was my first professional role I applied for. I went for the interview, but I got there just on the time. I thought I was late anyway, but they were waiting for me. We finished the interview. In fact, whilst at the interview, I was telling them actually I need to go as soon as possible because I was going to miss my train. I didn't believe in myself at that point. So they told me, don't worry, if you miss the train, we'll work it out for you. Bear in mind, I traveled from Bradford to Southampton for that interview. We finished the interview. I walk out from the room, and they asked the driver to drop me at the train station, got me a new train ticket to come back to Bradford. And on the way to Bradford, I had a call from them to say, we would like you to come and work for us.
Wow.
Southern Health NHS Trust. I felt this can't happen because I didn't feel I was prepared enough to do that. The reason I'm saying all of these is because I'm going somewhere. I want you guys to understand the importance of mentorship, the role of a mentor in your life. So I rang Christian straight away to say, I've just attended this interview and they've offered me the post, and I'm not sure whether I can actually deliver what they're asking for. And he said, you go and do whatever they ask you to do. And if you have any problem, ring me. I did that role for 2.5 years, very successfully, with support from somebody that I call it, in fact, not from a family member or anything, somebody who I met, and he's my mentor, and I call him Dad, actually. From all of that, I asked myself, what do I actually need or can do or can give back to people? And one thing that comes to me is you've got that support from somebody who mentored you right from the beginning to get to where you are. Why would you sit back and not give that same thing back to people in your community? So when I hear what you're doing, how you want to achieve, and what you want to instill in young people, quickly just resonate with me. I need to be on this platform. I need to be able to share this with yourself to say it's important when you start a journey like this to have somebody who is a mentor to support you, to develop you, to take you through all the journey. And I say all the time, when you start something, they'll tell you in Africa, we always say it all the time, the 2 or 3 things really, really needed to be successful in life: hard work, determination, and determination. And I said to myself, there are many people across in Africa doing hard work. There are many people that are determined to do what they want to do. And not every single one of them is here or achieve what they want to achieve or call success what they define it to be. One thing probably I think I need to add to that is the environment. And it's important for us to recognize that to be very successful in what you do or to define success to yourself, there are 3 dynamics that you need to take into consideration. One is to be hardworking. Yes, we know that. You're determined, but the environment plays a very big role in whatever you do to achieve that. The reason I'm sat here today is not because I work really hard. It's not because I'm determined to be successful. It's because of the environment I found myself in. And thankfully, the environment was so good and nurturing, and it brought me to where I want to be today. It's important for everybody or people who want to also get onto that journey, define success, and do something for themselves, understand that it's important the environment plays a role in it. Some of the environment where some places that you might think is the best environment for you might not be, but it's for you to understand. And also, to be fair, to know when the environment is actually helpful or is becoming a toxic environment. And you have to define and understand this is where it ends and you move on from that environment. Particularly mention this because I've worked in quite many organizations before this role. Some of you probably heard that already. I can count at least 6, 7 NHS trusts I've worked in. At some point in some trusts or some managers you work with or some teams you work with, you get to a point you realize you can't be in this team to go any further. because you get to the ceiling at that point. It's important for anyone in that journey to recognize that that is the end of that particular ceiling for you. You need to move out quickly from that. And if you cannot define or understand that, you end up being stagnant and you can't move any further. It's not easy to move from one place to the other. And I appreciate people will say it's difficult or there are so many factors to take into consideration, but these are the sacrifices that you have to put in place to be able to move a bit further and further and further. On my own person, I can say that today, this is exactly what I have done. You have other people there to help you, to support, and you take advice, but then you got to understand that it's not every single environment that is good for you, depending on what you want to do. So identifying that, understanding it, and then moving out of it very quickly is one of the important things to identify. And I've gone through all of that today. I'm sat here working with very respectful, well-led, qualified. In fact, there's so much I can say about people I work with now. But again, I'm able to do that today because we've gone through all that journey to understand who is the right person to work with. You understand how to work through difficult situations, how to understand or identify environment that are toxic or nurturing for you. Otherwise, you can't move any further. There's a lot that we can share today here, but I feel it's important for us to understand the three dynamics that I've just talked about. Your hard work, which is great, your environment, which is really, really critical to everything you do, and be determined. There's nothing that you cannot do, like you've just said. Once you put your mind to it that you want to achieve it, you can. Don't let anything stop you. All you need is the right guidance, right through the way, and you will get there. And I think we are on the right course here. You've got the right people in the room, and they will support you. And we want to do that together. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is giving a round of applause. Thank you very much. In fact, I feel like we literally the last 45 minutes we've gone through a plethora of, I don't have any questions anymore. Because there are like deep lessons from every single story. I can literally walk through, when he started, he talks about the importance of identifying opportunities, even in rooms when it doesn't look like there are opportunities. He talks about the spirit of excellence and even just tying that with vision. Because if she didn't have a vision that at some point, this hotel where she's cleaning, she would definitely be a guest here. We won't be talking about her story. She talks about turning pain to purpose, having gone through all the story she's gone through, taking that pain that she's been through and developing a solution that is serving communities in Nigeria now. It's incredible. She talks about the spirit of resilience as well, having gone through her journey and her story and seeing how she's now advocating and giving a voice to people to even come into emergency healthcare and response team, and talked about the importance of mentorship. And if you tie all of that, we have a beautiful cocktail that you could literally go back home today and design a blueprint for your future. So ladies and gentlemen, could we please just give them a round of applause?
Thank you so very much, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. That was a very how would you say that panel session went? Anyone? Any takers? You want to give your thoughts on what that panel session, how it was? Yeah, you want to go, please? A round of applause for while she comes forward. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi everyone, good evening. Coming to this event today, and my name is Olamide Padiola or Olamide Aremu. Coming to this event today, every single thing that was said resonates with me, coming from where we're coming from and where we are right now. looking at what I'm doing, especially when they talked about business wise. I think the first sir that spoke, he spoke about business, which resonates with me so much, and talking about the hustle, talking about how to put your foot down and the NHS, a lot of things, talking about we as an immigrant and we as an expatriate. Every single thing today is just like I've just gained more bones to thrive, to do what I love doing, to go out there and acquire what I really want to acquire. My husband happens to be a cybersecurity engineer, and me coming into this country, back in Nigeria, I was an event planner and event decorator. And coming into this country, everything I heard them saying was, you can't thrive, you can't be able to take your foot down, you can't do things, you have to go into care. I love caring for people, which I've done back in Nigeria before. Then coming in here, I went into it. But I knew there was something in me that was going to push me further. And what I did was, regardless of whatever the situation was, I went ahead, bought stuff, imported stuff from China, even though I had just one client. And 2 years down the line now, I think I've worked with him, I've worked with DJ Remy. It's actually a very beautiful community, the support and all. 2 years down the line, I've actually done 4 events here in the UK, which I know that a lot of people find it so hard. So Rotimi, bringing everybody here, seeing everybody, it just makes me feel so good, so fine that I am doing well and I'll continue to do great. So thank you to the panels. Thank you so much for letting we, that we are the younger generations, have that thought and have that strong mindset that we can also achieve what we want to achieve. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Please round of applause for her. Thank you, Olorunfemi. Okay. So for the next 5 minutes, we'll just take questions. If you're here and you have questions for any of the panelists, it could be a direct question and it could be general. Anyone? Let's just take one or two. Any questions? Can you indicate if you have? Okay. All right. Does anyone have a question? You want to ask a direct question? Okay, please, if you don't want to take the mic, feel free to scan the QR code you have on the screen and please make it quick. All right, scan the QR code, ask your questions. The back office will receive the question and then we will present it before the panelists. Okay, thank you very much. All right, earlier on, we listened to the beautiful stories of the great panelists. Like they say, that the secrets of great people is in their stories. And we have heard so many beautiful stories here today, stories of resilience, stories of passion, and stories of determination. I love the what Mr. Agbeshe ended his session with, which, can anyone remember the last three things he talked about? Anyone? Determination 1, hard work 2, environment 3. Very beautiful. Thank you very much. Please, can you celebrate all the panelists again with a round of applause? Thank you so very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the keynote speaker for today's event. She's someone we all know, a well-celebrated personality. She is the Lord Mayor of Leeds City, Councillor Abigail Marshall Katun. Thank you very much. She is the 130th Lord Mayor of Leeds. Councillor Abigail Marshall Katun is the first African to hold this office, representing the city with immense pride. Born in Zaria, Nigeria, she earned a bachelor's degree in business education from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, ABU. And the master's degree in development studies from the University of Leeds, which has become her second home since. Elected to Leeds City Council in 2019 and re-elected in 2023. She holds the distinction of being the first African and first Black representative on the Cooperative Party's National Executive Council. Councillor Abigail has held key council roles, including Security Board Chair and Chair of the Hate Crimes Strategic Board. Beyond politics, she is an athlete and coach, governor at Leeds City College, and trustee of several organizations. Her husband, Senator Sunday Marshall Khatun, proudly serves as her consort during her tenure. Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome for the keynote speech.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seated. A very good evening to each and every one of you, and thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you, Timmy, for being persistent. I've heard 3 versions of your name, Rotimi, Timmy, Roti. I've heard it all. Thank you all so much. To the Lord Mayor's Concert, Senator Marshall Khatun, elected members here represented, members of the panel, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, sharing insights on what it truly means to stand out and succeed. Success, as we know, is a journey, not a destination. A journey where each of us can elevate our path, overcome challenges, and reach our full potential. But standing out in today's world isn't about simply being different. It's about being impactful, purposeful, and very resilient. The first step to standing out and succeeding is clarity of purpose. Knowing what drives you, your why. Your why is the foundation for any journey. When your purpose is clear, it becomes easier to navigate obstacles and stay focused. Even when the path becomes challenging, take time to understand your values, your passion, and how you want to contribute. When you build your journey on a foundation of purpose, your actions gain a resonance that others recognize and they will surely respect. Secondly, embrace learning and adaptability. A lot of you here have come in as students, just like myself. Lots of people say, Councillor Marshall, how did that happen? From being an international student to being the Lord Mayor, it's taken me 24 years. Well, it's 24 years of grinding, 24 years of learning, 24 years of education, 24 years of failure, 24 years of success, 24 years of crying, and 24 years of laughter, all in the mix. So make sure we don't get that twisted. Challenges are often our best teachers, and those who stand out are the ones who turn their challenges and obstacles into opportunities. Another powerful way to elevate your journey is by cultivating relationships. And I kind of heard a bit of that from some of the panel members I was opportune to hear them when I arrived. Very important. Relationships and connections. Success is rarely a solo endeavor. It's not something you can do on your own. Seek out mentors. I heard that from the last panel member. Build a network of peers and be willing to support others on their paths as well. Relationships are not just about what others can offer you. They are about learning. They are about collaboration and shared growth. When we lift each other up, we elevate our collective potential. Consistency and integrity are also very key. Standing out is not about flashy moments of success. It's about showing up day after day with authenticity and dedication. Success that is built on integrity and consistency endures. So ask yourself, how can I bring my best self to every moment? Because it's in those small, everyday actions that true greatness is cultivated. Finally, embrace resilience and a positive mindset. Setbacks and failures are inevitable. What sets those who succeed apart is not the absence of failure, but their response to it. Always remember, you have no control on what's done to you, but your response is in your control. Those who truly stand out know how to rise after every fall, how to hold on to their vision despite the odds, and how to keep moving forward with optimism. So, to each and every one of you here listening to me today, as you continue on your journey, remember this. Success is not about what you achieve, but also about who you become along the way. Stand out by being true to yourself, by being a lifelong learner. Never stop learning. Whether it be adult education, no matter how old you are, keep learning. And also by giving back. Very important. Kindness. Elevate your journey with resilience, purpose, and an unwavering commitment to your dreams. The world needs each of us to shine in our own unique way. So let's rise to that challenge, and together we can make the difference. And I'll encourage you all to know that the difference between starting and not starting is courage. The difference between making progress and not making progress is consistency. And the difference between giving up and not giving up is persistence. So if you have consistency, courage, and persistence, you are right on the road to your success. So to each and every one of you listening today, always remember, nothing good comes easy. But if you stay on the path from everything that you have heard today, and always remember, no one is like you, and that is your power. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you already did that, but can we give her a round of applause one more time? Thank you very much. If you came in while that was going on, that was a keynote speech by the Lord Mayor of Leeds, Councillor Abigail Marshall Hatun. Hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. I have a lot of friends from. Yes, please, can we celebrate her husband as well? Please say that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. sounds like you're from Jos. No. Kaduna. Oh, right. I've been to almost everywhere in Nigeria except the north.
You haven't been to Nigeria.
Yes. I went around. Okay, well, I've been to Abuja. That counts as the north. Well, I used to pride myself to be a very well-traveled, locally traveled person. At least I went to up to 27 states out of the 36. Just couldn't go to the north. I don't know why. Now I've been traveling around the world as well. I've been to a lot of countries in my mind and a few in reality. Right. Yeah, it's like one of the things she said is to think about it, if you could dream it, right? I've been dreaming about traveling a lot. You know, sometimes I just dream and I find myself in a new country. So it's the reality that is waiting now. Very soon it will come to pass. You know, I like to say that coming to the UK, I flew past many countries, but I only touched down to, right? I can't count how many countries I flew over from Lagos. I know I landed in Doha, Qatar, and I didn't cross the border, but my feet touched the airport. So I count it as part of the countries I've been to. Haven't I been to Doha? I took pictures. And now I'm in the UK. Okay. Thank you very much again. Ladies and gentlemen, she said so many things to cap, in addition to what a lot of all our panelists said, and I'm just going to recap some of them in case you have forgotten. Please do not. Remember what I said earlier about a lesson I learned from the great fella Goto several years ago. That at a conference like this, a whole lot of things will be said, and consider all the things that will be said as a bunch of keys. You do not need a bunch of keys to open the right door. You need just a single key. And what you should be interested in today is finding that exact right key that is required to open the door you are knocking on. Right? And a whole lot has been said regarding that. One of the things that has been re-echoed a lot has been building communities. The panelists all said it, the keynote speaker said it. Build communities. One of the things the keynote speaker said was to cultivate relationships. Success is really not a solo endeavor. No matter how much you try, you can't do it alone. All right? Find a community, seek out mentors. That also has been re-echoed a whole lot. Seek out mentors. There are people who have gone ahead of you. It's a lot easier in life if you can stand on someone's shoulders. All right? And then be ready to support others. Okay? Collaborate. 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 Lastly, she said, success is not about what you achieve. It is about who you become along the way. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, that was it about the keynote speech. Please, now I'd like you to do something for me. We've been here, some of you have been here since the beginning, or even before the beginning of this event, and you have remained. Please, can you celebrate yourself for having been here this evening? I say something about the UK, that the UK is one of the places where you can be here now and not be here the next minute, because there is something called shift. Right? We all understand what that is. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to move on to the very next thing on my agenda, which is the standout session. Okay? This will be for about 10 minutes. Okay. All right. We'll take a quick break, but before the break, I'd like to bring up a young man for a spoken words poem presentation. Please put your hands together as I introduce Raphael Olukoya as he comes to present the poem titled In Pursuit of Progress. Please a round of applause for him.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Raphael Olukoya, and I write as a way to express myself. A disclaimer, so don't expect me to sound like Shakespeare or C.S. Lewis. I write. In fact, when Rotimi told me I was going to be getting that, come on, one of your poems, I'm like, that's going to be the first time I'm going to be doing that. So please just accept it. I'm just going to do it like we're after will do it. Thank you. So I've ever feel like progress. You put in so much effort into something and then you're not getting the right results. It's taking you too many years and you're not getting what you want out of it. What do you do when you're in pursuit of progress and then you're not getting any results? I hope you witness as you listen. You know, I have come to grasp the truth that mere words do not suffice. For actions must be wedded with intentions. Yet, I labor diligently. So no avail, it seems. As if my very best is rendered but to a shadow. Each dawning day, I toil to construct a brighter now. Yet the trials of this life often render my endeavors as futile, whispers upon the winds of despair, overwhelming my spirit with the weight of frustration. In this unyielding cycle of striving and uncertainty, I find myself compelled to ponder on the nature of progress and ask myself always, is it not defined by the steadfast resolve to persevere, to advance despite the myriad obstacles that arise? I often ask myself, though my path may be stained with hardships unrelenting, and doubt may threaten to ensnare my weary heart, I cling to the conviction that every effort will bear fruit, that each small step serves to forge a way to my aspirations. And thus, I shall press on, undeterred by the shadows, embracing each trial as a lesson bestowed, trusting that the tomorrow may prevail. Not solely the fruits of my labor, but also the wisdom gleaned from this noble sweet. For then and only then we have been able to stand out in life. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming very close to the end of this event. I'd like to thank you all once again for having been here this long. I'm looking for it's a memorable one. Again, thank you to our keynote speaker and all our panelists. To everyone who has made this what it is today, DJ Remy, the event planner, Alamide, whom we had earlier, Square Events. Thank you so very much. At this point, I'll be calling up some people here in Bradford who have been doing great things in their own spaces to talk about what they are doing briefly. First for your information and also for collaboration as much as possible. And the first group I'll be calling up is T Saint. T Saint, please a round of applause. Thank you very much. All right, thank you.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kyle. This is just an industry name. So Thank you very much, Rotimi, for inviting me here. Thank you to everyone that's been here to listen to the amazing panel. I've been very impressed with the caliber of people that have spoken today. And then it makes me feel like, what am I even doing here? I'll do my best to talk about what I've done. And it's just inspiring. It just shows that there's a future for people like myself. I have some slides because I like to just be visual. I'm a cinematographer, so I like to do everything visual. So please pardon me to put on some slides. Can I get the slides up?